Welcome to our simple guide to completing Form AP1. Form AP1 is used for many different types of application to change the land register. For example, to add or remove someone from the register, to change an existing name in the register, for example, on marriage or divorce, to remove a paid-off mortgage from the register, or, after an owner dies, to register the person who has inherited the property as the new owner. This video does not cover all of these application types, only how to fill in the routine parts of the form. You can make an application to change the register yourself, but if the property is mortgaged, the lender might insist you use a conveyancer, so you will not be able to submit it yourself. Otherwise, if you're ready to start, let's show you how to fill in Form AP1. You can download any of our forms, including Form AP1, from our website gov.uk. Simply type AP1 into your browser. In Panel 1, fill in the name of the local authority that serves the property. This will be the County Borough, Unitary Authority, District Council, or London Borough to which council tax is payable. Also, insert the full postcode of the property if there is one. In Panel 2, write in the title number or numbers of the property. When we register property, it is given a unique HM Land Registry reference number. This is shown at the top of the first page of the title register and also on the title plan. If you don't have the title deeds, the quickest and cheapest way to obtain them is to view or download a copy of the register using our Search for Land and Property Information service, available on gov.uk. The property summary is free, while a small fee is payable for each copy of the register and title plan. And you will need an email address and a debit or credit card to use this service. Panel 3. If your application affects the whole of the property or land, you will need to put an X in the first box. If your application only affects part of the property or land, for example, you're selling a piece of the garden or leasing part of a building, you will need to put an X in the second box. In this case, you must also provide a brief description of the part affected by entering the full postal address along with a description of the property or reference to a plan. For example, edged red on the plan to transfer, dated 1st of November 2023. Supply a plan if the property cannot easily be identified by a description alone. Type HMLR plans into your browser for more information about plans. Panel 4 is where you list the applications you are sending us. In the first column, list each application type separately, using one line for each application. For example, discharge, transfer, charge. You need to enter the application types in priority order, which means the order you want us to consider them. In the second column, enter the amount being paid for the property, if anything. If no money is changing hands, don't simply enter 0. Instead, you need to enter the current full market value of the property. If this column is blank, we'll have to write to you for the information, so we can check the fees. This could delay your application. In the third column, enter the fee payable for each application type. In our example, the existing mortgage has been paid off, or discharged, and the property transferred by way of gift. As no money has changed hands, enter the full market value of the property in the second column. For help in finding the correct fee, use our fees guide on gov.uk. The guide includes a fee calculator, which may help. Simply type HMLR fees into your browser. Panel 5 is where you list all the documents you are sending us with your application. Form AP1 is only the application form. The documents you send in with it to support your application are what we use to change the register. For example, if you were going to transfer the whole of the property, you would need to fill in and execute a Form TR1 to transfer the property. We only need certified true copies of deeds or documents you send to us. Once we've made a copy of the documents you send to us, we destroy them, so please don't send us the originals. If you are sending additional documents, please list them as separate documents. To certify that a copy of a document is a true copy of the original, the person making the application should write, "I certify this to be a true copy of the original, dated, signed, name printed, date, on the face of the copied document." Panel 6 asks for the name of the applicant, that is each person to appear on the updated register. If the applicant is a company, you will need to complete the additional questions. Panel 7 must always be completed by the person sending the application to HM Land Registry. Write down the name and address of the person sending us the application. Include a phone number if possible. The address you give us is the one that we will use if we need to contact you, and to which we will return any documents we need to send back to you. If you provide an email address, we will use this to correspond with you. Unless you are a professional customer with a key number, leave the key number box blank. If you are a professional customer, add your reference, otherwise leave this blank too. Leave panel 8 blank. It was previously used when you wanted us to notify a third party once the application had been completed, but we no longer send these notifications. State the contact address for each property owner. This is the address we'll use to contact you if we need to. We call it the address for service. It's important that we have an up-to-date address so that we can contact the property owners if we need to. If at any point you want to update your address in the register, watch our video, How to Update Your Contact Address, for a step-by-step guide. Each owner can have up to 3 addresses, one of which must be a postal address, but not necessarily in the UK. The others can be any combination of postal or email addresses. Make it very clear whose address is whose. You don't need to fill in panel 10 unless you are registering a new mortgage. If that's the case, most mortgage lenders will insist you use a solicitor to apply for registration. Panel 11. You only need to put a cross in this box if there are any interests that affect the property, such as leases granted for 1 to 7 years, manorial rights, or chancel repairs. There are lots of other types of overriding interests. It's a very complex area of law which we can't cover in this video, so if you are unsure whether you need to fill this box in, take a look at the information on our website or consider taking legal advice. For more information about the overriding interests which must be disclosed, see our guidance pages on gov.uk. Simply type PG15 into your browser. If there is anything to disclose, fill in the panel and enclose a completed Form DI with your AP1. When conveyancers submit applications, we rely on the steps they have taken to verify their client's identity. These checks, detailed in panel 13, help reduce the risk of property fraud. If you are not a conveyancer, put an X in the second box and then go straight to panel 14, ignoring panel 13. In the first column, write the full names of every person or firm involved in each transaction. We call these parties. Each party must be entered in a separate box. In our example, Mary Jones is the transferor, that is the current owner. Thomas Henry Smith is the transferee, that is the new owner. And Peter Smith is the mortgage lender. In column 2, Either enter the full address and reference of the conveyancers who act for any of the parties, or if any of them is not represented by a conveyancer, put none in the box in column 2. You need only complete the next section of part 1 if you've paid off your mortgage and you're sending a form DS1 or DS3 with your application. If this is the case, write the name of the mortgage lender in the first column. Complete the second column with the name, full address and reference of the conveyancers who act for them, or if they are unrepresented, insert none. Otherwise, leave it blank. Now we need to check the identity of each party involved in some of the transactions, as stated in the instructions at the start of panel 14. You must complete this section in all cases. Put an X in the first box if the applicant in panel 6 is different to any of the people named in panel 14. Put an X in the second box if you have written none in any of the boxes in part 1 of panel 14. Everyone mentioned in this form who is not represented by a solicitor must verify their identity by completing an appropriate ID form. This could be form ID1, ID2 or ID3. In our example, Thomas Henry Smith and Peter Smith need to verify their identity using an appropriate form. For more information and guidance, including when we require evidence of identity and any exceptions to the rules, can be found in Practice Guide 67. Simply type PG67 into your browser. Alternatively, you'll find a video showing you how to use our ID forms to show evidence of identity on our Public Guidance YouTube playlist. In panel 15, each person listed in panel 6 must sign and date the form as the applicant. And that's it. Before you send your application, please check that all relevant panels of the AP1 are complete, that any other forms you're sending with your application are complete, for example, forms ID1, TR1 or DS1, that you've enclosed all the documents and evidence we need to register your application. If you're unsure about any aspect of the application you're making, please consider seeking legal advice. HM Land Registry cannot offer legal advice. If you're lodging an application with us yourself, send your completed form along with all of the documents and evidence to support your application and the relevant fee, if required, to HM Land Registry, Citizen Centre, at our standard address for applications, which you'll find on our website gov.uk. Simply type HMLR address into your browser. For information on the fee payable for each type of application and how to pay it, see our guidance pages on gov.uk. These include a list of application types which are exempt from fees. A couple of further tips before we go. Please make sure documents are clear and legible. Do check names match the names in the register and across all documents. If they don't, you'll need to explain why and send evidence such as a marriage certificate with your application. Provide a translation into English or Welsh if you are submitting foreign documents. And if you're not sure about anything, seek advice from a legal professional. We hope you have found this information helpful. You'll find more guidance about completing Form AP1 on our website gov.uk. For more videos on a variety of land registration topics, subscribe to our YouTube playlist, Public Guidance. You will also find information and guidance on a variety of topics on our Customer Training Hub on gov.uk. Search HMLR Training.